Hornets scoring in double figures to pick off a 3-point win over Nebraska Kearney to split their last full road trip of the year last week. The men battled on the road but came up short in 2 6-point losses at Fort Hays State and Nebraska Kearney. The MIAA tournament picture will continue to clarify this week as the Hornets take their bye week. They're off until Saturday when they host the Newman Jets. NU is the only team eliminated from postseason contention for both the men's and women's tournament entering this week. And with that, we welcome you into the brand new Hornet Talk here at 627 Event Space. It is time for today's specials brought to you by 627 Event Space, your Hornet Game Day headquarters, 627 Commercial in downtown Emporia. Among the specials every day, a $5 small chicken finger basket right here at 627 Event Space. We'll also welcome those of you listening online, kvoe.com/listen, and also streaming on the ESU Athletics YouTube channel. We'll start with the women today, ladies first as is normal, and we'll start with a historic shot made by Gracie Gilpin in the road victory at Nebraska Kearney. Hannah up top. Gilpin wants a three. Bingo! Gracie Gilpin with a three-pointer. And with that make, she is alone in third place. She passes the great Treasure Jobe for third in Lady Hornet career three-pointers. And she gives Emporia State a 9-7 lead. Emporia State got off to a good start in that game. Yeah, Gracie Gilpin now third on her own in career three-pointers in Lady Hornet history. Now, she'll have to get cooking and catch Cassandra Boston. She needs about 30 in the last 3 regular season games, or maybe you make a little run in the MIAA tournament. Won't put it past her, but she is in third on her own, and it's the best 3-year three-point career in Emporia State Lady Hornet history. Later on was an assist from Noonan to Micah Hanna to continue the Hornet offense early in the ballgame. Noonan, no tape on her left hand this time. Great backdoor pass by Noonan. A beautiful cut by Hannah. What an assist there by Noonan. Finds the bounce pass along the baseline, and Hannah finished. 11-9, Emporia State. It was tight all the way, and Emporia State hitting some key free throws down the stretch to give them a margin. They were 14 of 17 from the free throw line in the second half. That gave them a 3-point lead going into UNK's final possession, where the Lady Hornets needed one more stop. 7 seconds. Ashoff inside. A three. Sears short. Rebound. Loose. Hannah has it. Ball game over. Lady Hornets win on the road. And the Lady Hornets get the sweep over Nebraska Kearney with a pair of single-digit wins to sweep the Lopers and spoil UNK's senior day. Meanwhile, for Emporia State's men, for their specials, we'll start with the road loss at Fort Hays State. It was a Jones three-pointer late on a Treyvon Taylor rebound that got Emporia State back closer to the Tigers. A three from Conley, missed short, rebounded by the Hornets. A Jones three, swish! Jones with a three on the Taylor offensive rebound, timeout Hornets. And that's not it from Taylor. Taylor had a late and one against UNK. Red plays it to the middle. Here is Taylor attacking on Swift. Leans in. Oh, it's a flop. Blocking foul. Count the basket. And one. Taylor finishes off the window. Swift can't believe it. Yeah, I think Swift should have believed it. It was definitely going to be a flop if it wasn't a blocking foul. And then later on, Dallas Bear tied the ball game late at the Health and Sports Center with this three-pointer. 76-73. No reason for the Hornets to be in a huge hurry right now. One score game, 2 minutes to go. Just need a basket. Red dribbles to the far side. Here's Bear. Hops to a three. Tie ball game. Dallas Bear with the tire change and the new shoes has tied it up at 76. And the full story there, not sure exactly what happened. We have to ask Coach Billeter, but something happened with Dallas Bear's shoes there, so he needed to get them restrung. They got untied somehow, and so I think it was Eli Stokes' shoes that he got into there in quick order. They got them changed. They apparently were the same size. Came out, hit the three in the new shoes, and Emporia State was right there. But, of course, it was Nebraska Kearney getting a three off a timeout, and then free throws down the stretch. They got the last 6 points of the game to just barely nudge out the Hornets on the road in a 6-point defeat to Nebraska Kearney. Coming up on the show today, we'll be joined by both head coaches, MJ Baker and Coach Billeter. Makenzie McDaniel had a great week on the road last week. back-to-back double-digit scoring games. She averaged 15 points per game last week at Fort Hays State and Nebraska Kearney, so she'll be joining us. And then Treyvon Taylor continues to play very well. He had a double-double last time out for Emporia State in the loss to UNK. So all of that coming up here on the show as we get you set for just one game this week. It's the quote-unquote bye week. The so-called bye here is this is the 1 week of the MIAA season where the Hornets will play just one game. It's the Newman Jets from Wichita coming in for a doubleheader on Saturday. So it's a 1 o'clock RB Doc pregame show, and the doubleheader begins at 1:30. We'll have it for you on Mix 104.9. Of course, listen online at kvue.com/listen. So head coach MJ Baker will join us here in just a moment as we get set for the Navy and Red. Live from 627 Event Space, this is Hornet Talk. You're listening to Emporia State Basketball.
Winter weather in Kansas. Is your car ready? The team at Black Creek Diesel and Automotive is proud to be a part of the Napa Network. With over 14,000 Napa Auto Care centers, you'll always have an ASE certified mechanic nearby. The next time you need service, head to Black Creek Diesel and Automotive for the expertise and quality service you need to keep your ride on the road wherever you're headed. Black Creek Diesel and Automotive, 3105 West 6th Avenue in Emporia.
Wanting to consolidate debt? Look no further than Emporia State Federal Credit Union. They have a variety of loan products to help you reduce your payments and pay off debt faster. Text or call them today to speak to a qualified local professional. 620-342-2336. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions may apply. All loans are subject to approval.
Emporia State Federal Credit Union. The educated choice.
When you need fast care, Newman Regional Health Medical Partners Express Care is here for you. Conveniently located on site at Newman Regional Health, Express Care offers walk-in service for non-emergency illnesses and injuries. No appointment needed. Open 7 days a week to keep you feeling your best. Call today at 620-343-7828. Trust Express Care for quick, reliable treatment. Newman Regional Health Medical Partners Express Care, helping the Hornets achieve their healthy goals.
When second's making a play, short's got to cover.
A winning insurance strategy doesn't rely on one person.
Good hustle. Communicate with your guys and make sure everyone's in the right cover.
It takes a team that knows its roles well, working together to provide an exceptional experience.
Set the screen. You have to protect yourself.
1, 2, 3, Wildcat!
At Shelter Insurance, you can count on our local agents and award-winning customer service to help you protect what matters most.
Shelter agents Kelly Medrano and Dave Watts are proud sponsors of this Hornet Talk.
Catch the spirit and gear up for game day with Sports Connection, Kansas' leading team sporting goods provider. Sports Connection is your go-to for anything sporting goods, with the biggest brands in sports at competitive prices. Whether you're there for the tailgate or touchdowns, Sports Connection has the ESU fan apparel for game day that you need. Show your Hornet pride and get your fan gear at Sports Connection, 2721 West 15. Stingers up.
Headed to the game or celebrating after? Swing by 627 Event Space Bar and Grill. Whether you're grabbing a burger before kickoff or winding down with a beer after the buzzer, 627 has you covered. Emporia's go-to spot for great food, cold drinks, and unbeatable vibes. 627 Event Space Bar and Grill, the new home for Hornet Talk at 627 Commercial. Proud supporters of the Emporia State University Hornets. Stingers up!
Mix 104.9.
The Emporia State baseball and softball seasons are underway. You can get in on the action by joining us for our live play-by-play coverage beginning March 28th as the Lady Hornets host Missouri Southern. We'll have the coverage for E-State softball, 2 doubleheaders, and 2 baseball series, plus coverage of the Lady Hornets at the 2026 MIAA softball tournament. If you'd like to be a part of our radio coverage this spring and get in line for football this fall, call us at 620-342-1400. That's 620-342-1400. For 38 years, Mix 104.9 has been the voice of the Hornets. Welcome back to Hornet Talk live here at 627 Event Space. 1-1 week for the Lady Hornets as they picked up a win over Nebraska Kearney tough loss against Fort Hays State last time out, a 69-56 loss to the number 7 Tigers, 78-75 win over Nebraska Kearney. Last full road trip on the road, believe it or not. So Newman, the bye week this week, 1:30 tip-off for the Lady Hornets and the Jets. Emporia State comes in 13-12, 7-9 inside the association. Newman is 7-18, 1-15 in the MIAA. They're the only women's team eliminated from postseason contention as of right now. Now joining us, the head coach of the Lady Hornets in her first year, MJ Baker, joining us here on the show. This weather in February is a lot more friendly to people who have recently moved from Florida. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think everyone keeps trying to scare us though. They're like, don't get fooled by this. Don't get fooled by this. Like, we're still going to have probably another good cold front or snow coming the end of February or March. But right now we are soaking this thing up.
You should. I think they call it like false spring.
Yes.
But they have like the 12 stages of spring, and we're not there yet for sure. But as the weather has warmed up, with Lady Hornets have kind of warmed up here a little bit. You've won 3 of your last 5 now, and you get the win over Nebraska Kearney. First of all, how are you guys health-wise right now? Because you had back injuries, concussions, and all kinds of different sickness. Too long to list. So how are you guys doing right now?
We're still down. We still have Julia and Lex not full go, and Liz still has her back injury. Kataya's still on concussion protocol, hasn't practiced, and A5's grandmother did pass away, so she's in Texas with her family right now. So we are down probably about we have 4.5 players down. Lex is practicing, but it's a little, she's still coughing up a lung. So
sure. Well, certainly our thoughts and prayers go out to A5 and the Reese family, and for you guys to be able to kind of overcome all that. I mean, there's a point in practice and you were calling for subs in your drill, and you looked around like, oh yeah, I forgot we had no subs. We have no subs. So for you guys in a situation like that, to get the win, and you have 5 players scoring double digits for you in the win over Nebraska Kearney. It's the first time since November last year when the Lady Hornets beat Ottawa last season. The only time it's happened this season. It's exactly what you've been asking for. What made it happen for you guys?
I think they're understanding the sharing of the ball and the ball movement and player movement, and how if we actually do move the ball and have player movement and set screens with a purpose, that they can actually come off some stuff and get open. And I also think we just continue to let people know, like, we can't just keep riding Gracie and Special K every single game, that we need other people to step up consistently. And I know Kenzie's been big with that for the last couple games, along with, Vanessa has been pretty consistent, and Micah's playing her best basketball she's probably played all year right now. So,
well, yeah, you mentioned Makenzie McDaniel. She'll be our guest in the next segment. Boy, what a week. Her best 2 games of the year. She averages 15 points and 6 rebounds, and really good competition. You know exactly what kind of post presence that Fort Hays State has inside, and Nebraska Kearney has traditionally had one as well. What allowed her to have such a great week on the road last week?
I mean, I think she's been putting in a lot of hard work in behind the scenes and working really hard. And I know the beginning of the season hasn't been like she wanted, and I know coming off last year it's been a little different too. But she's really put her head down and bought in and really been working extra. And I think her teammates did a really good job of finding her as well. And honestly, she's been more patient and poised around the basket, which I think's helped her a lot. And then I think she also understands that she can't be stopped. So
what is that relationship like between perimeter player and post player? Because it is so important not just to make good passes that are accurate passes, but sometimes also the timing. You pass to the right spot, right kind of pass, a bounce pass, but getting it there 1 second earlier, sometimes that can be the difference between a layup and a double team.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, we always say guards are always selfish. So I tell the guards all the time, like, you guys are always selfish. Like, y'all don't pass the ball inside like you should be, but that is something that we have been focusing on more, is finding a way to get the ball inside more, because we can't live and die by the 3-point line. But at the same time, one cool thing about Gandy and Kenzie is that they're not black holes. They do a really good job of filling the game and passing out. It's not like it goes in there and it never comes back out.
Sure.
So I think the guard's starting to trust that, hey, 1, you're finishing at a high level, and 2, if you get double teamed, you're doing a really good job of finding us. And also, Kenzie sets some mean screens.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
She's also, I know on the stat sheet it doesn't say screen assists, but
Sure.
Kenzie would have buku screen assists. We keep track of that in practice, but she would have buku screen assists if that was on the stat sheet.
And some of those screen assists have led to several of these Gracie Gilpin 3-pointers. What's that like for you? I know you're just getting the tail end of the Gracie Gilpin career, but she moves into 3rd place all time in career Lady Hornet
Yeah, I mean, I'm
three-pointers.
so proud of her. She's like that one player that plays 40 minutes and is the Energizer Bunny, and she literally gives everything she has on both ends of the court. She buys into scout. She's one of our smartest players. And honestly, just seeing her do more than just shoot the ball, too, for us. She's got her nice floater game and pull-up game right now. And honestly, in that third quarter, she literally put the team on her back, and I think she scored like 10 or 11 in a row. So just to see her just shine and just know that she's way more than just a three-point shooter. But obviously, for her to do that in 3 years, to be able to be the third leading three-point shooter of Emporia when there's been so many great players that come through, and she's done it in 3 years, it'd be incredible if we had her for one more.
Now,
But unfortunately, we don't.
No way to extrapolate, but if you would have added on her 73-pointer, 75 or so she had at Cali, she might have a chance to get the all-time record, but, there's no way to know how that extrapolates out. Obviously, you guys, with the health, with the injuries, it seems like this bye week was the perfect time for you. You guys desperately need it. So how are you guys? I know on the practice schedule, you've got an extra rest and recovery day on Wednesday. So overall, how are you using this off week?
I mean, I feel like right now we're not really taking an off week today. We had a really physical and aggressive practice this morning. We're trying to just continue to get tougher and be more physical and learn how to continue to use our bodies better for rebounding, the things that we need to tighten up in order to be able to be successful the next 3 games, but also prayerfully in postseason as well, which is defense and rebounding. So I feel like even though we do kind of have a bye week, we're not taking it easy on them. We are practicing shorter, and they have a nice little Wednesday off in between. But at the same time, they're going really hard.
Well, even on Friday last week, I mean, I know you said that, Lexi DeWitt can barely breathe, but you guys are running up and down. I'm like, Coach, let's pump the brakes a little bit. They're dying out there.
Yeah, we couldn't, Blake, because they didn't practice for like 3 days. So it was just like, oh my gosh, we got to get them up and down the court. Yeah, we went 3 days without practicing full court just because everyone was so sick. So we had to go. And this morning it was definitely a gladiator battlefield today.
Sure. Well, hopefully the sickness is gonna, the fresh Emporia air and the great weather is gonna get all the ladies feeling much better. Because going in and gosh, in that Fort Hays State game, you gave me the checklist. I'm like, well, here's 2 injuries plus one player didn't travel because of sickness. Lexi didn't play because of her sickness, and then half the other available players were all under the weather. So hopefully that'll start to get cleared out for you guys. You guys definitely need a break. You mentioned the MIAA tournament, and certainly depending on what happens on Thursday and Saturday, a win on Saturday for you guys could put you in the tournament. Is that something you talk with your teams about in terms of what we need to do to get to the postseason, or are you a let's focus on just Newman and just winning this game kind of coach?
Yeah, I think they need to understand what's at stake because especially I think we have like some 29-year postseason streak going on right now.
That is an accurate statement.
Yeah,
yes.
And my thing is we don't want to be that team,
Sure.
and I never want to be that coach either that breaks that record. I didn't even know about beating a top 25 team streak that was going on until after the game. I would have been so stressed if I would have known about that before the game.
Sure.
But we're focused on each team one at a time. But I also explained to them the big picture because I think it's important to know the big picture because the urgency behind it that we can't really drop a game. We really have to come ready to go every game and understand it could be the matter of us extending our season or only having 2 weeks left.
Well, and it also kind of goes back to the legacy thing. I asked you about 20 and 10. What was that? And hey, it's because of the 2010 championship. How important has it been for you as the new Lady Hornet coach? It's been a minute since the Lady Hornets were at the height of their power, but you've kind of made a point of trying to learn about the legacy of the program that you've taken over.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important for them to study the people who've come before them. And we have alumni weekend coming up, and I pray that we have a lot of alumni come back. And anytime someone that played for us comes through, we always have them talk to the girls, and we try to do something with them because we are trying to honor everyone who came before us. But I also think it's important for these girls to know that they could be that too. I mean, we're messing around with Fort Hays both games. I mean, we beat Central Mo, we beat Pitt State, we had Missouri Southern by 18. They can mess around and do something really dangerous in postseason if we prayerfully make it there. So as much as we want to honor those who came before us, I want them to understand they can also be something that's great that maybe we didn't have such a great start, but at the same time, they're finding a way and getting better every day.
I know that you mentioned, alumni weekend is coming up. You meet people, you meet alumni. You are one of the few head coaches that I've seen before the game, home or away, you will go and dap up everybody along the opposing table, as well as the Emporia State table. How did you get this kind of outgoing nature? Is that something you've always done?
I think gratitude is just what I try to stem from. I'm just really thankful for the people taking the time, even on the road, to be at the table to work it, because I know they're doing it pretty much for free, or they're giving their time away from their family. And even our people that come 5 hours and drive, to our games or whatever, I feel like even family members, just to honor them, because it's sacrifice that a lot of people do to pour into us, and I just want them to know that they're seen, and we really do appreciate them.
Well, last thing for you mentioned some things that you guys can kind of mess around, have a special end of the year season here. Newman is the only team eliminated right now for postseason contention. They can't make it, but they took Pittsburgh State to overtime. They hung around with Central Missouri. They hung around with Missouri Southern, and certainly there's a lot of stats and records that would say, well, Newman's just not a very good team. But I know that that's not a team that you're overlooking right now. What's a couple of things that you've noticed in your very early film study for the Jets?
Newman's scary. My assistant coach Taylor keeps talking about it as well, because they have so much offensive power. They're a very NBA style team. They're not going to run a lot of consecutive actions or all that, but they shoot a lot of threes, and they can get hot really early. So for us, it's going to be really big about personnel and just making sure that we don't give them too much momentum, which we're pretty good at doing that sometimes. Rogers State just sticks close to my heart, along with Missouri Southern.
Sure. How
we do a really good job controlling them, and then we let them go off, and then we can't stop them from going off on us. And with Newman not having anything to play for either, it's kind of like when you play that loose and kind of like that free, sometimes those teams play really well. And to take those teams into overtime, and then the one win they have is they beat Arkansas Fort Smith by 17. And we had Gracie, who had like the game of her life against them, and we barely came out of there.
Sure.
So we understand that we can't take any opponent for granted. And even if they're at the bottom, anyone could beat anyone. And we do have a lot at stake, and they're going to come in really loose and free.
The Lady Hornets with a chance to maybe punch their ticket to MIAA Madness on Saturday against the Newman Jets. 1:30 for the doubleheader tip-off. Of course, our RV Doc pregame show is set for 1 o'clock on Mix 104.9. Coach, always appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Blake. You're the best, man.
Coach,
thanks, guys, for coming out.
Coach MJ Baker joining us here on Hornet Talk. We'll take a timeout, and we'll talk with Makenzie McDaniel, the Silver Lake Eagle, former Silver Lake Eagle, having a big week as a Lady Hornet last week, and she'll be joining us next. Live from 627 Event Space, this is Hornet Talk. You're listening to Emporia State Basketball.
At Newman Regional Health, our local providers are here to care for the people who matter most, our friends, family, and neighbors. From annual checkups to everyday care, they're here to help you stay healthy, feel your best, and achieve your healthy goals. Call 620-343-2376 to schedule your appointment today, or visit us online at newmanrh.org. Newman Regional Health, here to support you and the community we call home.
Life is loud, chaotic, hilarious, and occasionally peaceful. Your life fits you, so why settle for life insurance that fits someone else? At Shelter Insurance, our local agents help you design a personal protection plan backed by award-winning customer service. We're your shield. We're your shelter. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
For a free personal protection review, contact Shelter Agent Callie Medrano in Emporia.
Catch the spirit and gear up for game day with Sports Connection, Kansas' leading team sporting goods provider. Sports Connection is your go-to for anything sporting goods, with the biggest brands in sports at competitive prices. Whether you're there for the tailgate or touchdowns, Sports Connection has the ESU fan apparel for game day that you need. Show your Hornet pride and get your fan gear at Sports Connection, 2721 West 15th. Stingers up.
Headed to the game or celebrating after? Swing by 627 Event Space Bar and Grill. Whether you're grabbing a burger before kickoff or winding down with a beer after the buzzer, 627 has you covered. Emporia's go-to spot for great food, cold drinks, and unbeatable vibes. 627 Event Space Bar and Grill, the new home for Hornet Talk at 627 Commercial. Proud supporters of the Emporia State University Hornets. Stingers up!
Winter weather in Kansas. Is your car ready? The team at Black Creek Diesel and Automotive is proud to be a part of the Napa Network. With over 14,000 Napa Auto Care centers, you'll always have an ASE certified mechanic nearby. The next time you need service, head to Black Creek Diesel and Automotive for the expertise and quality service you need to keep your ride on the road wherever you're headed. Black Creek Diesel and Automotive, 3105 West 6th Avenue in Emporia.
Wanting to consolidate debt? Look no further than Emporia State Federal Credit Union. They have a variety of loan products to help you reduce your payments and pay off debt faster. Text or call them today to speak to a qualified local professional. 620-342-2336. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions may apply. All loans are subject to approval.
Emporia State Federal Credit Union, the educated choice.
Mix 104.9.
The Newman Jets coming into town. Only game of the week is on Saturday. It's the Hornets and the Jets for a doubleheader. It's a 1 o'clock RV Doc pregame show. We'll have it for you on Mix 104.9. Joining us now, sophomore center 6'1" from Silver Lake, coming off of her best 2 games of the year, averaging 14.5 points per game. She scored 29 in her last 2 last week, including 15 points, 5 rebounds in the win over Nebraska Kearney. She's averaging 5 points and 4 rebounds on the year. Makenzie McDaniel joining us here on the show. Makenzie, so great to have you aboard. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Well, for you guys to be able to go out on the road and play so shorthanded like you guys were. I don't remember. There were so many players that were sick. I can't remember if you were one of them, but you guys were all sick or with injuries. What was that like to just come up with the performance you did on Saturday, knowing how shorthanded you guys were as a team?
We definitely were shorthanded. There was a lot of us struggling with sickness, and it's like the type of sickness makes it so hard to run, can't breathe. So I think practicing, it just brought us so much closer together because we were all going through the same things, and I think it really helped with our chemistry, and we were just able to pull it together and play good as a team, and it was really good.
Did you guys take anything from how you battled at Fort Hays State? Because for about 32 minutes of that game, you guys were right there with the number 7 team in the country, and I think that they got a shot to win the national championship this year. You guys were really pushing them and making them feel a little bit uncomfortable. What did you guys take away from being able to do that?
I think it was just really good for me. That gives me that extra confidence that hey, we played really good with them and we stuck with them, and that only means in postseason crazy things can happen. So that just makes me so excited for what could happen. And
so you mentioned that this February is your birthday month. Well, you love playing in February because you look back at her February last year. She ended the season, had that injury, which was so unfortunate because you were playing so well at the end of the year. You're really kind of a freshman coming in and figuring it out at the end of the year. You ended the year 4 out of your last 5. You had double-digit scoring, but there's something about February. You really like to play in this month. Wish we could just play in February. What is it about February that just seems to agree with you?
I don't know. I just feel like it's a very important part of your season.
It is.
It's the end of the season, and every win matters, and so it just really motivates me to play my best and leave it all out on the court because at the end of the day, it's our season's almost over.
It is. It's crazy how fast it's gone. We're here with Makenzie McDaniel, sophomore center from Silver Lake. One thing that Coach worked a lot with you about, especially in that Friday practice last week, said, make quick decisions, got you going a little bit more toward the baseline, right-handed and left-handed. And I remember there was even one play in the game on Saturday. You went to the middle, but it was a really quick. You caught the ball. It was just one turn, get a shot off. How has she talked to you about making those quick decisions? Because it seems like you've been very decisive, and certainly your offense has reflected how well that's worked out for you.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is scout. We knew that they played a little bit of zombie defense. They crashed the the paint. So she warned me before the game, you're going to need to make quick decisions and either make a move or throw it out because they're coming. So just being prepared for that has helped me make those decisions.
Obviously, it's a different coaching style from the last year to this year. What's that adjustment been like to having Coach MJ this year?
We definitely play at a way faster pace, which in the end I think has really made us a better team because we're able to play all 4 quarters and still be pushing pace, and I think that makes a lot of our opponents tired and worn out. So
Absolutely.
I think it gives us the edge in the game. to be more in shape.
Makenzie McDaniel is our guest, sophomore center from Silver Lake. How are you trying to use this week to rest and recover after all that extra effort? And I mean, it's been a long grind to get to this point here. Now with 2 weeks left in the season, it seems like a pretty decent time to get a bye week. It's one bye this week and then 1 week to get ready for the MIAA tournament. So how are you using this week?
I think I'm just using it to be more prepared. I mean, we've been going from Thursday to like preparing for our game on Thursday for the first beginning of the week, and then only having 1 day to turn around and prepare for our Saturday day game. So being able to have that extra time to prepare for that is honestly really, really good feeling.
Speaking of preparing, what are you preparing to do with your studies and your future? What are you studying right now at sophomore year at Emporia State?
I'm a biology pre-med major.
Okay, so you're one of the many pre-med major. Have you figured exactly what branch of medicine you're thinking about? I know you got a lot of time to change your mind, but anything that's speaking to you right now?
I really wanted to be a pediatrician like growing up, but now I'm thinking I like OBGYN. So
okay. So that's obviously a lot different. We'll see if that plays out. Best of luck. Either way you go with that. Last thing for you, anything that has stood out to you about Newman right now? I know it's very early. There's a lot more film study to come and a lot more walkthroughs and things like that. Or has the focus mainly been on you guys here with your first day of practice today?
We haven't really talked about them in practice, but we do know that they're like an offensive team, which like MJ said is scary because really the ball, like the energy is contagious. So it really only takes one little run to change the game. So just being prepared for that.
Makenzie McDaniel, back-to-back double-digit scoring games. She'll try to make it 3 in a row when the Jets come in on Saturday. We'll have the coverage for you. It's a 1:30 tip-off for the women, men to follow, and we'll have it for you on Mix 104.9. Of course, you can listen via the Odyssey app or via the brand-new ESU Athletics app. Makenzie, best of luck to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Makenzie McDaniel, ladies and gentlemen. What a great weekend it was for her on the road last week. Another guy played really well. It's Treyvon Taylor from the men. He'll be joining us when we come back after this. Live from 627 Event Space, this is Hornet Talk. You're listening to Emporia State Basketball.
Catch the spirit and gear up for game day with Sports Connection, Kansas' leading team sporting goods provider. Sports Connection is your go-to for anything sporting goods with the biggest brands in sports at competitive prices. Whether you're there for the tailgate or touchdowns, Sports Connection has the ESU fan apparel for game day that you need. Show your Hornet pride and get your fan gear at Sports Connection, 2721 West 15. Stingers up.
Headed to the game or celebrating after? Swing by 627 Event Space Bar and Grill. Whether you're grabbing a burger before kickoff or winding down with a beer after the buzzer, 627 has you covered. Emporia's go-to spot for great food, cold drinks, and unbeatable vibes. 627 Event Space Bar and Grill, the new home for Hornet Talk at 627 Commercial. Proud supporters of the Emporia State University Hornets. Stingers up!
Winter weather in Kansas. Is your car ready? The team at Black Creek Diesel and Automotive is proud to be a part of the Napa network. With over 14,000 Napa Auto Care centers, you'll always have an ASE certified mechanic nearby. The next time you need service, head to Black Creek Diesel and Automotive for the expertise and quality service you need to keep your ride on the road wherever you're headed. Black Creek Diesel and Automotive, 3105 West 6th Avenue in Emporia.
Wanting to consolidate debt? Look no further than Emporia State Federal Credit Union. They have a variety of loan products to help you reduce your payments and pay off debt faster. Text or call them today to speak to a qualified local professional. 620-342-2336. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions may apply. All loans are subject to approval.
Emporia State Federal Credit Union. The educated choice.
Newman Regional Health Medical Partners is proud to provide the same orthopedic and sports medicine care trusted by the athletes on the Hornet fields. Their expert medical team serves the greater Emporia area with comprehensive treatment for sprains, fractures, joint pain, and sports-related injuries. Trusted by athletes and available to everyone. Schedule your appointment today with Newman Regional Health Medical Partners at 620-343-2376. Newman Regional Health, achieving healthy goals.
We all plan to be on time, but fender benders damaged windshields, and slick roads quickly disrupt those plans. At Shelter Insurance, our agents help design personal protection plans that work for you and help keep you on track. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Brought to you by Shelter Insurance. See Dave Watts for a free personal protection review. Mix 104.9.
So coming up on Saturday, again, only one game this week for Emporia State, and it's going to be Fraternity Sorority Life Retro Night on Saturday at White Auditorium. Now, I can't tell you how far back they're going in terms of retro to what decade, but there are going to be T-shirts to the first 750 in the gate, to the first 400 students, the first 350 non-students, free pizza in between games, plus knockout tournament during both games with fraternity and sorority chapters playing for a monetary donation. I believe that they gave that to charity last year. So plenty to come out for Fraternity Sorority Life Retro Night coming up on Saturday at White Auditorium as the Hornets take on the Newman Jets. Joining us next is a freshman off of the men's team, Treyvon Taylor, joining us here on the show as we get set for the Hornets taking on the Newman Jets. I really appreciate you being here, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
For you guys as a team, that tough road trip out west for you guys, how have you guys kind of digested it? Try to take it to heart. I know you guys spent a lot of energy. You did a lot of really good things, but I know as you're learning, as we talked about before the show here, sometimes you can do a lot of really good things, and in this league, you don't always get that reward of the win at the end. How are you guys kind of learning that and dealing with that here after that 0-2 trip?
No heartbreak or nothing like that. It's more of like just a gather of togetherness. It's more of recuperation and getting ready to battle for the last couple of games that we have. There's not much else besides that. We try to stay together as much as possible. We just had a couple guys here eating, so
sure.
You know what I'm saying, staying with that camaraderie and keep that going as well. That's all.
And it seems like it would be really easy, when you have these games where you fall by just single digits for that to splinter. It doesn't seem like that's happened.
Yeah.
Who are some of the guys in the locker room who have been helping to keep those glue guys that help keep this team together?
Yeah. Those glue guys, there's a lot of them, but staying together is really the big thing. I mean, the only thing we can say is just going out there and compete as much as possible, play with true aggressiveness, and trying to compete with even the greatest teams out there. So I think that's what our mindset is going in for these last games, be able to dominate and finish out with a better standing than what we've been.
We're talking with Treyvon Taylor. He is a freshman from Moline, Illinois. He has scored in double figures now, going on 5 of his last 8 games. And he's had his 2 career high games. Last time out, 21 points and 10 rebounds, second career double-double, career high in points. It feels like as a freshman, just like I was talking with Makenzie about here at the end of your freshman year, feels like you're starting to figure things out here. What's the adjustment been like for you coming up and moving up to the MIAA level from high school?
From high school, I would say that it's a lot more aggressive, but for me, it hasn't changed. I've always been the aggressor. I was fouled out many games throughout high school, so
sure.
none of that changes. But coming here and play with more aggressiveness and more a higher level and higher speed, it's a different adjustment. But I have great coaches and I have a great team that have been helping me with that throughout this whole season. So.
And it seemed like for you guys, one thing that Coach Schlatter has been talking to you guys, and this is not a Treyvon Taylor coaching point. This has been for all the big guys, like, hey, we got to be tough. We got to finish around the rim. And, you look at the last 3 games, you shot 60% or better from the field in each of your last 3 games. How have you guys been able to get that done and be able to finish around the rim? Because Fort Hays State plays really physical defense, Nebraska Kearney and Missouri Southern, they all have played really physical defense, but you've shot the ball really well from the inside these last 3 games.
Well, I would say that a bigger thing for the bigs would be it's glass or dunk. So there's nothing else
sure.
between it. That's what the motive been. And but going into practices and going into our training as bigs, we get hit a lot. We go through a lot of the aggressive stuff. So I mean, that sets us apart from other bigs and other teams where we go against the more aggressive side, and that really helps us out during the games when we have to finish.
Have you been surprised at the physicality? Because I know sometimes, there's bumping and they're pulling on your arm, and you're like, oh, that's got to be a foul. And you're like, oh, yeah, I forgot. It's the MIAA. They're not calling that.
Yeah, no, they're not going to call that. I've experienced it many times. Honestly, I just shrug my shoulders.
Sure. Yeah, but here in 4 years, you'll just be used to it. And you'll be telling the other freshmen, like, yeah, this is, welcome to the league, man. It's just the way it is. Yeah. So with all of that being said, you guys have got some of your own injury issues to deal with. How are you guys trying to use this off week here with just one game on Saturday?
Well, I would say that we took off yesterday, we took off today. So I think that having those 2 days off to have our body recuperate and get a lot better and, get more energy for this week, prepare ourselves for the game on Saturday to dominate and destroy them. So.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. So last thing, since you guys haven't met, I won't necessarily ask you to give like a scouting report on Newman, but instead what I'll ask is for you guys, just as a team, as players, I know you probably had some discussions, maybe watched some film, but what's one thing as a team that you guys feel like will be at the top of the priority list once you guys do get started with practice in terms of working on yourselves this week?
Well, this team, this will be the first team that played the most zone. So this team will definitely be the team that will go against in practice where we do more zone work.
Okay.
So that would really be the preparation for at least this week, and then moving on to further weeks, we'll get a little better at it.
Treyvon Taylor joining us here on Hornet Talk, freshman averaging 10 points and 5 rebounds a game, shooting 50% from the field. The Hornets taking on the Jets coming up on Saturday. It's a 3:30 tip-off time for the men. Of course, we'll be on the air with the doubleheader coverage beginning at 1 o'clock from White Auditorium on Mix 104.9. Treyvon, best of luck to you. Thanks so much for being on the show. Treyvon Taylor, ladies and gentlemen, joining us on the show here today. We'll wrap things up with Coach Billeter getting set for the black and gold versus the navy and red when we come back. Live from 627 Event Space, this is Hornet Talk. You're listening to Emporia State Basketball.
Headed to the game or celebrating after? Swing by 627 Event Space Bar and Grill. Whether you're grabbing a burger before kickoff or winding down with a beer after the buzzer, 627 has you covered. Emporia's go-to spot for great food, cold drinks, and unbeatable vibes. 627 Event Space Bar and Grill, the new home for Hornet Talk at 627 Commercial. Proud supporters of the Emporia State University Hornets. Stingers up!
Winter weather in Kansas. Is your car ready? The team at Black Creek Diesel and Automotive is proud to be a part of the Napa Network. With over 14,000 Napa Auto Care centers, you'll always have an ASE certified mechanic nearby. The next time you need service, head to Black Creek Diesel and Automotive for the expertise and quality service you need to keep your ride on the road wherever you're headed. Black Creek Diesel and Automotive, 3105 West 6th Avenue in Emporia.
Wanting to consolidate debt? Look no further than Emporia State Federal Credit Union. They have a variety of loan products to help you reduce your payments and pay off debt faster. Text or call them today to speak to a qualified local professional. 620-342-2336. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions may apply. All loans are subject to approval.
Emporia State Federal Credit Union. The educated choice.
When you need fast care, Newman Regional Health Medical Partners Express Care is here for you. Conveniently located on site at Newman Regional Health, Express Care offers walk-in service for non-emergency illnesses and injuries. No appointment needed. Open 7 days a week to keep you feeling your best. Call today at 620-343-7828. Trust Express Care for quick, reliable treatment. Newman Regional Health Medical Partners Express Care, helping the Hornets achieve their healthy goals.
It's time to fall forward into football season and cheer on your favorite team. So why not get new gear for you and your family at Sports Connection? Sports Connection carries Emporia High and area high school team apparel, as well as ESU, KU, and K-State gear. They also do custom screen printing for your team, booster club, or your family and fans. Catch the spirit with new fan gear from Sports Connection. Sports Connection, 2721 West 15th Emporia.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did? Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you.
For auto, home, life, or business insurance, see shelter agent Dave Watts. Mix 104.9.
Bye week for Emporia State basketball as they get set for just one game this week against the Newman Jets. Tickets are now available for the 2026 MIAA tournament at Municipal Auditorium in Kansas City. Action begins on March 4th and rolls on to the champions are crowned on March 8th. Get your all-session passes today by calling the ESU Athletics ticket line at 620-341-5350. Save nearly $40 when you get an all-tournament pass in advance from ESU. Don't miss the action of MIAA Madness in Kansas City this March. Emporia State coming in at 8-17, 4-12 in the league against the 5-20 Jets, 1-15 in the MIAA. Joining us now, the head coach of the Hornet men, Tom Billeter, joining us here on the show. Well, Coach, I thought that there was such great energy and great effort for you guys in both of those games. But what was the takeaway that you hope the team has from, expending all that energy, doing so many good things? I know that there were mistakes, but ultimately coming up short of both.
It's only been a couple games that we haven't done it, that we've been down often, and we come back almost every game.
Yes.
We really do. And I thought against Kearney, to be honest, when we tied it, their body language versus ours, I thought we were going to win it. I liked the direction it was going. Give Coach Levinson credit. He drew up a nice little play. We call it Louisville action. And they just do a back screen, down screen, and he popped and hit the three. They made the shot, and we didn't, And so heck of a game. Wish we could have split. We knew we needed that one. It was a really important game for both teams. But kids played hard. The whole year our guys have been great. I mean, you have Trey up here telling you how we've done a really good job. My staff's done a great job of focusing. It's always one game at a time. Don't look forward. Don't ever look back. We never look back. But you have to just kind of go one game at a time. And Trey did a great job on here. He's a really, he's a special player. He's got a chance to be as good as he wants to be, and he works hard. He wants to be a good player and has all the tools. He's got a chance to really do some really neat things.
Yeah, he's been a great one for you, and he was a big part of the battle against Fort Hays State. You guys fought all the way. I thought maybe in terms of defense, that was maybe one of your best 40-minute performances.
Well, they just didn't shoot it very well, so that makes our defense look really good.
I think that you guys have something to do with that, though, don't you?
I don't think so. I think it was pretty much them just missing shots. So, but no, a little bit. Teams like that we can play pretty well. Coach does a great job. They control tempo. We even controlled tempo. We wanted the game in the 60s. We got that. We just needed to score. It was funny. Some fans were at the game and Jack Wegas didn't play on Thursday, and people were like, is he in trouble? They thought, Jack's like the greatest kid in the world. Trust me, he is never going to be in trouble in his entire life. You want him to date your daughter the second he possibly can. He's just a great kid. And everybody was like, put Jack in, put the shooter in. And I'm sitting there going, no kidding. I really want to put him in. But, he couldn't go on Thursday. He gave it all he had to go Saturday because with Chris out on Saturday, I don't know if Jack would have – if Chris had played, I don't know if Jack would have been really – he would have tried it. But,
sure.
He knew with Chris gone. So, pretty gutty performance to get out there and play the minutes that he did. And, injuries are part of it. And we always say it's a coaching thing, but it's really true. You got to step up. When we played Georgetown, I always tell the story. We played Georgetown in the Summit when I was at Rice, and Alonzo Mourning goes down in warmups. And we're like, holy crud. And we were good that year. We're like, we got a chance to beat Georgetown. And they brought this freshman in that we really didn't know much about named DK Mutombo. And DK had 16 and 16 that night against us, kind of broke out of his shell. They beat us by 4. They beat us 68-64. But, when Alonzo went down, we thought, holy moly, we got to end. But, that's when a kid steps up and really has an opportunity to do some special things.
Dikembe turned out to be pretty good.
Yeah, he ended up not being a bad kid to put in when Alonzo called himself Zoe. So Zoe went down, and DK he came in and did a great job.
Yeah, he turned out to have a pretty good NBA career as well. For you guys, have there been any other players in your career that you've seen when you were at Rice or maybe when you were at St. John's or some of the other players that turned out that you knew the first time when you saw him? Like,
oh gosh,
man, that guy is going to be.
Reggie Miller was pretty good.
Yeah.
I bet he could shoot it a little bit when we played UCLA. Obviously, Richard you remember Richard Hamilton for
I do.
Yeah,
Rip.
We played them in the championship for the Big East, and he had I want to say he had 34 36, and we still had 10 minutes to go. Of course, it was my scout. And after that point, every basket that went in, Fran would just stare me down, like, you know, like I'm like, all right, coach, put me in. I'll try to guard him. I mean, nobody else can guard him. But yeah, no, we've played. I was lucky to be in such good leagues that we've played some of the best players. You know, we've played Hall of Famers. You know, I mean, you know, when you're that was really fun. That level was fun, and you know, they're special. Some of those guys, especially the bigs, they're so big and they play so hard. They're so physical and they play so well above the rim. They might not be able to shoot outside of 5 feet, but it doesn't matter at that level. It just doesn't matter. You know, Tim Duncan was pretty good at Wake Forest.
Yeah.
You know, and these kids were good then. You know, it'd have been interesting. Would these kids all have been? Would he have stayed at Wake Forest today? No way. You know, I'll tell you an interesting one. Do we win a national championship in 2016? There's no stinking way. I mean, my center, who was the player of the year, went to the EuroLeague making 6 figures in Belgium. There's no way I would have kept that team together. You know, so it's a whole nother. It's a whole new shooting match right now, and everyone's still trying to figure it out. But it's gonna be interesting.
Well, you mentioned.
I know this. I'd be very positive about my team today. I'm not saying anything negative after what happened at K-State. I feel kind of bad for Coach Tang. So I'm going to be like, I love my guys. They're the best.
I understand. Well, you mentioned you've worked for some Hall of Famers. You mentioned Fran, who KU fans kind of have. I'm told I like Fran, but a love-hate relationship because he's on ESPN. He's doing a lot of these big 12 games. What was it like?
I'd say Fran's a very good commentator. I think
he's great.
I think he does a really good job as a commentator. You know, he's demanding as a coach, very knowledgeable. He's got a special memory. If he meets you once, he'll know your name for the rest forever. He can.
Wow.
He can just do that. Franklin Roosevelt could do that. There's if you ever read his biography, one time this guy was fixing a car when Franklin Roosevelt was at this deal. He was under the car fixing it. He rolls out on one of those rollers back then and meets the president. The next year at the same auto show, Franklin Roosevelt's there, and the same guy's fixing it. He goes, hey, knows the guy's name as he was under there, and that was 1 year later. It's a great story. But, you know, there's people out there that have that type of a memory. Blake, I don't have that. I don't have that ability, to be real honest. I can't remember my name after most nights.
Well, I totally get that because, I mean, I try to have, in my profession, you have to have that ability, but only for, 24 hours. And that you have to forget all those people until you see them later. And
you do a great job of that, though.
Remember.
The really good people that what you do have unbelievable recall. And they can remember scores from so many years ago, and they can remember, you guys have a special ability to just know really useless stuff, and you're really good.
There's
at
a lot
it.
of
There's a lot of memorization, high schools, points that they scored 3 years ago against us, or who hit the winning shot. You guys you're very good at it. You do a great job.
You're right. A lot of it is useless, but we do.
No, I don't mean it that way, but it's just something you're never going to, it's not going to help you in any way, shape, or form. No, but to know who went to what high school and had 11 points in the state
But it is
championship.
sometimes interesting on the air. One thing I also remember is you mentioned your battle back with Nebraska Kearney. I wanted to ask you in terms of what has allowed you guys to battle back this year. It feels like it's been different in every game.
Yeah.
What do you feel like it was? Sometimes it's been your offense starting to get back.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's been,
It's never been our defense.
Well, there have been some times, though.
Not
I think
really.
your defense has gotten some
when
stops.
We do our kumbaya moment in the locker room and just pray they miss shots, and then our defense is pretty salty, to be real honest. So, we you know what, our guys, I will say this. When we play in streaks, which is not healthy, that's not a good way to be, but when we're in a good streak and we're doing stuff the right way, we can play with anybody. I mean, I still say one of our best games this year was Washburn, and we ended up losing by 11, but, we had a good game plan. Kids played hard. We did it, and we can play in those games. The teams that have given us the most trouble this year are pretty athletic teams that play a little unconventionally. They may be just doing kind of crazy stuff that we probably don't even do at practice because we're a pretty conventional type program. And
You're talking about unconventional offensively or defensively?
Like pressing on a missed shot. Like we were playing Missouri Southern. 3 guys, we teach our guys sprint back. They have 3 guys on the rebounder taking away your break. And that is a way to play because those 3 guys, after they do that, still beat all my guys back when they go back down. And so there's certain teams that can play a certain way. We're going to get better at that. We really are. And I will say this with Trey Red. I think Trey's playing very well right now. And I think he's figuring it out, and we're figuring him out. But he had a couple takes Saturday where he was the quick. I mean, it was unreal. We got it in. He beat them down. He gets to the rim. He had a couple and one, which was huge.
Yes.
To keep, we got it under 10, and sometimes we get it under 10, and it's just human nature. You rest, and before you know it, boom, it's 15 or 16, which happened, to us a couple weeks ago. this time against Missouri Sun. This time we got it to 10, and before you knew it, it was 4, and then it was 3, and then it was tied.
Yeah.
On
a Dallas Bear 3-pointer where you guys are changing shoes on the bench.
Yeah, my wife was lacing it up. So they couldn't figure out how to get the shoelace in. So Paula came out of the bullpen and got the shoe and the shoelace, and she laced it up. And God, those guys' shoes, I wouldn't want to touch those shoes. So I made sure she scalded her hands afterwards and boiling water.
Sure.
But yeah, no, she came in there and
it looked like it looked like Eli Stokes had his shoes off, or maybe she was using his shoelaces.
Well, we were trying to get anybody's shoelaces we could get. So Dallas is in a size 13, even though he wears a 14 or 15 with no shoelace. Out there playing, and Casey Schlatter looks at me and goes, Coach, we can't make this crap up. He's out there with no shoelace out there trying to play.
And he ties the game.
And at that point, we were still in the game. We were only down 15 or 16. And we weren't playing very well. But then we kind of got going.
You did. And
maybe it was the shoelace. I don't know. But Dallas, he's out there playing and making shots and doesn't even have a shoelace.
And he absolutely hit the shot that tied the ball game. And, yeah, that is definitely going to be a memorable one. Well, you mentioned this Newman team that you guys have started as a coaching staff, your prep for them. And
watch their films.
Very unlike normal. They're playing a lot of zone.
They'll play some man, but they're zoning a ton. And I know that's
not
Coach
like
Allen.
Coach Allen normally. Yeah. Normally he's a pack line defense man-to-man guy. What are some of the things that you have noticed?
Coach Allen pretty tight still. You give him some of our secrets. You telling him how to guard us. Trust me, it ain't very hard. I'm sure he's got it figured out. But can we trust you on these conversations?
When I talk to Coach Allen in pregame, I do not share injury information. That does not get shared with any coach in the league.
But you can share his with me. I'll be very appreciative. Remember, who's paying the bills? Come on.
Sure. But for you guys against Coach Allen, what is it about when they are zoning? What are the things that make their zone a little bit different?
They match up out of it. Like they'll go with cutters and release them at the mid-post. They'll go with you into the lane and then they release them at different points. It's a very unorthodox zone. It's kind of man and zone mixed together, almost like a switching man at times. Like Fort Hayes. They took Hayes to overtime.
Yeah.
That was a heck of a game. They had him. They were up 14. Watch the game. It was amazing. They had him down.
It was 14. A must-win for them to make the tournament.
Yeah. And so what they did, Hayes ran its man stuff against them. They ran a lot of their man offense against them, and they got some decent looks out of it. So, it's a hodgepodge of everything, and whatever we have that we can get going on and working and what have you, that's what we're going to do.
So maybe you'll have. How difficult will that be? I'll make this your last question. We're up against the clock here. How difficult is that when you have guys trying to get them to understand, okay, maybe they're in a zone.
Yeah, I know. You saw that Saturday.
You're going to run man stuff against it. And sometimes that always just doesn't mesh
What you got to be careful of, obviously, in a zone, if you're going to run your man stuff, is they can switch out of it. So they'll get into a passing lane. They can deny a hand back. They can be, very disruptive that way. But you can also – if teams are switching, it's very easy. Just screen your own man because that's the person that's going to pop out and guard your guy. And so you just need to basket cut. Switching teams, you were taught this in 5th grade, cut to the rim.
Yep.
So just be aggressive against them and get to the rim. So I hear the music. I know we were going to talk X and O's for a while. Now I like going. I like talking about this. And no, I appreciate everybody. And it's been a trying year for us and what have you. But I got a great group. I really do. And love my guys. And they're going to work hard and keep getting better. But I really do have just a top-notch group of kids.
Coach, we really appreciate you.
Thanks,
Thank you so much. Tom Billeter here for the Emporia State Hornets. Once again, the Newman Jets coming in. Doubleheader coverage begins at 1 o'clock on Saturday. Thanks to Iris Renteria back at our KFFX studios. I'm Blake Cripps saying good night and Stingers up.